Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Oyster Radio. So today, we have got wonderful news of a lovely Indeedee promo, which is going to be included with an upcoming issue of Koro, that magazine comic thing over in Japan. It's a new Indeedee promo. Now, Koro does actually have a bunch of Indeedee promos. No, just promos generally. This is a moderately regular thing. They tend to have one every kind of 2 or 3 months, so it does make sense they'd get this one. Personally, I would love to have a magazine that gave free promos that were for the Pokemon TCG regularly. That would be awesome. Those magazines don't exist over here, ladies and gentlemen, and that's extremely sad. But never mind, there's a new Indeedee to talk about. Now, starting off then, we have got 100 HP, and 100 HP on a basic is fine. It's not particularly good, it's not particularly terrible, it's fine. Better than some, not as good as others. We got a retreat cost of 1 here, which is quite nice because it does at least give us access to U-turn board, which is rather nice. And we've got a weakness to fighting, which isn't ideal. There are so many good Pokemon like Eternatus and Pikachu and Zekrom at the moment that are all weak to fighting. So it would be nice if we didn't have a weakness to fighting, if I'm honest with you. But you can't win them all, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a colorless Pokemon. Now, colorless does mean you get powerful colorless energy to do an extra 20 damage. That's good. But it also means that you're not hitting anything for weakness. Of course, what's interesting from our point of view here is that we've never actually had a colorless Indeedee before. Indeedee has come around, well, we got the V in Sword and Shield, and then we got the Psychic version in Rebel Clash. Indeedee has only ever actually come in as a Psychic Pokemon before, so this is the first colourless one we've ever seen, and it's actually coming as a promo. It is very much worth pointing out that Indeedee is Psychic normal type in the video games, so it certainly isn't particularly unusual that we would be getting a colourless type here. It's just a cool little side note that it happens to be a magazine promo that gives us our first colourless one. So there we go. Now, our translation does come from the lovely Joe over at Cerebi.net. Yeah, that dude's been helping us quite a bit the last day or so. And we've got an attack for a single colourless energy that lets you search your deck for 1 basic energy and attach it to one of your bench Pokemon. And we've seen attacks like this a lot in the past, and my feeling on them is always pretty much exactly the same. Is it worth it? And the answer is, well, how many attacks are you getting? Because if you're getting 1 attack, no, it's not worth it. You're not doing any damage. All you're doing with this attack is you are getting a bit of energy on the board. The thing is, you've got to attach an energy to Indeedee in order to then accelerate an energy to one of your bench Pokemon. So if all you're doing is attaching 1 energy to Indeedee and then using that to attach 1 energy to one of your bench, not worth it. You might as well just attach the energy to your bench Pokemon in the first place and have done with it. But if you can get multiple attachments rolling here, then we're doing alright. Then we're feeling an awful lot better about this. It just comes down to how many attachments you're actually going to have. Honestly, a lot of the time what's really going to happen is you attach an energy, you then accelerate that energy to the bench, and then you get KO'd, and you've basically given up a prize to accelerate an energy that you could have just attached from your hand. So not loving that. But we do have a second attack here that I do like an awful lot more. For 2 colourless energy, and if I tell you it's called Psychic, that'll probably give you a good indication here. You do 20 damage base, plus 20 more damage for each energy on the defending Pokemon. I mean, it's Psychic, right? We've seen Psychic a million times before on a million different Pokemon. It punishes your opponent for attaching a bunch of energy. But like so many of these kind of attacks in the past, it really is better if your opponent is being hit for weakness. Now, interestingly enough, Indeedee V has Psychic. Now, that is 10 damage base plus 60 more for each energy, and you're hitting a fairly decent weakness. Something like Mewtwo and Mew will be quaking in its proverbial boots, which is nice. But this isn't hitting for weakness, and it's 20 plus 20. So the reality is you're not getting that many KOs. Like if your opponent attaches a single energy, you're doing 40 damage. 40 damage is not going to get a huge amount of KOs. As a psychic Pokemon, I would like this an awful lot more. But do remember we've got powerful colorless energy. But this isn't a single energy attack, it's a double energy attack. So what you really want to use is you want to use twin energy so it becomes a single energy attack. Basic Pokemon, single energy attachment, start spreading some damage, yay! But then, that's kind of awkward and annoying, because you want to use powerful colorless energy. But the thing about powerful colorless energy is that it's only paying one of the energy, so you've got to have something else instead. And sure, maybe you combine it with something like Welder or Tapu Koko, but we're getting into awkward territory, and this isn't a Pokemon that's good enough to be able to go into awkward territory. What we need to have here is a nice, simple, basic energy go. And it might be a case, something like, Centiskorch comes to mind here. Centiskorch is the new Pokemon that's going to want to just go a little bit nuts attaching a whole bunch of energy. And they will. It's Centiskorch, kind of what they do. Centiskorch for 2 colorless energy minimum, 40 damage, plus 40 for each fire energy on there. And if any damage is done, they can attach an energy from the discard to Centiskorch. And unfortunately, it's can, not must. The reason that's unfortunate, if they had to accelerate energy, then that would be kind of awesome, because that would just be an extra 20 damage, which would be sweet. But, it's not. It's optional. And being optional is going to end up hurting you. There's no way around it. But you're still going to be able to do some decent damage. Centiskorch a lot of the time. Let's say you've got, just for argument's sake, you're playing, what's a big VMAX people play? Let's say Centiskorch, because this would work in a Welder deck. So Centiskorch is sitting there, and Centiskorch is rocking 320 HP. So in order to get all of the requisite damage on there, you're talking 7 energy on Centiskorch. 7 plus a 40 base, that's 8 times 40 is 320, there we go. Of course, if you start bringing in heat fire energy, it could actually be more. But let's say 7 energy for the time being. Well, that means that Indeedee's coming doing a flat 160. That's a 2-hit KO. And look, I know it's a 2-hit KO. I understand it's a 2-hit KO. But you're 2-hit KOing for 3 prizes, and they're 1-hit KOing for 1 prize. So as soon as they've got 7 energy attached, you're actually trading favourably with Centiskorch. Though do please bear in mind that Heatfire Energy could put the maths off a little bit. But then again, you could play Heatfire Energy and they have to attach more energy. This is where Indeedee comes in. It is a tech, and it's not an every deck tech. This is an occasional deck tech. This is a very standard matchup tech. I.e., don't want to play it, don't want to play it, don't want to play it. Hang on a second. I'm going to be able to use this against Centiskorch. It's going to be good. This is never going to be particularly good against something like an Eternatus V Max, where the reality is you're hitting 60 damage. Woo! And maybe that's enough. Like maybe you hit them for 280 and you just want a single prize Pokemon to finish them off. And you get bonus points here for actually being out of range of Hooper, which does 90 damage. Go team. And I'm not going to sit here and argue that Indeedee's some big powerhouse that's going to be the next great deck, because it's not. But I am going to sit here and argue that a basic Pokemon for 2 colorless energy that can punish really energy-hungry decks like Centiskorch does have a place in your binder. It is a kind of card that you need to keep a couple copies in your binder, because you never know. It could work out. This could end up being awesome. It could also end up stuck in your binder and never see the table, but these are the kind of Pokemon I love. Basic Pokemon, single energy attachment, and they're not going to fill every role in your deck, but they're just good enough and just versatile enough that they can end up helping you in a whole bunch of matchups. Plus, you do always have powerful colorless energy, which can totally throw the maths off for your opponent, and that's kind of hilarious. I've already given away the score. It's a free Wassy card. It is exactly the kind of card you keep in your binder, because you might end up wanting to put it in a deck here or there. So free Wassies is fair. But at this stage, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to hear from you. Do you think this is a good card? Can you see it being teched into some decks? Or do you think it's just a little bit too weak? Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.